reveals what is effectively Armor 3.0. In their newest developer insight, we have next generation armor. Let's go ahead and read through all of this and see what is in store for the future of Destiny 2. Welcome to one of many developer insight articles, Codename Frontiers. Right, so they're doing a bunch of these and they say you can link back to this if you're interested in that. The deep dive for this one is on the future plans for armor. Compared to weapons, armor has been relatively unexciting reward for a few years now. Very true. Armor has been very bland and boring for so long. In the year ahead, we will be introducing new properties to armor and changing how stats work to make it easier to change armor around. Very nice. TLDR, armor will be more active, interesting part of build crafting. I like that. Stats will be reworked to be more impactful, less confusing, and less constraining. Got it. Set bonuses will be introduced to give individual armor sets more unique identities and build crafting elements. Okay. So you have an entire armor set for a respective build. Things could get pretty spicy with that. The problem we have is in the years since the last major update, Shadowkeep's Armor 2.0, armor has settled into a relatively static part of the reward story. Once you have the right stat rolls, there's very little else to look forward to. Exactly, you just get your Artifice armor and you're done. And the intricate balance of stat values has a lock-in effect that makes it hard to want to swap anything out anyway. True. For armor to be exciting again, it needs to have some unique properties, and stats need to be easier to manage without so much needing for fine-tuning. I agree with that sentiment. The solution, we have reworked stat mechanics. Stats on the armor will be changing in Codename Frontiers in order to make them more player-friendly. The first major change is the mechanics of the stat themselves. We have stats effects will no longer be tiered every 10 points. Every point in a stat will provide a benefit. This change is intended to reduce the lock-in effect that happens when a fine-tuned combination of stat values makes it feel impossible to switch out any single armor piece. Alright, that seems actually like a good deal. Right now, obviously, if you had like 99 resilience, you had basically 90 resilience, but with this, 99 resilience would be 99 resilience. Like those 9 points would actually be valuable rather than have no value. Stat effects will be capped at 200 now instead of 100, with the range from 101 to 200 providing an additional powerful effect building on the base effect. This change is intended to support deeper investment in a smaller number of stats and spikier stat distributions on armor with fewer secondary dump stats. Okay. In addition to the above changes, the distribution of stats on armor will also be changing. One legendary armor will have a stat archetype, which determines the primary and secondary stat types, with a third stat being a free roll. The values of these stats should be overall spikier, leading to fewer points in dump stats. The class slot, Hunter Cloaks, Warlock Bonds, and Titan Marks will have full stat distributions on par with the other slots. Okay. We'll have stats on the class items now. We got a chest here. Gonna have 30 strength, 10 intellect, 20 discipline. Total stats turn into 60. Hand cannon loader. Hand cannon, improve hand cannon dexterity. Interesting. Hand cannon loader on the chest is interesting. Usually this is like gauntlet mods. We got brawler armor. Brawler armor archetypes have extreme melee and other close range capabilities. Really? So you put on the brawler armor if you want to run around with a Titan, like with a melee build, like Syntheseps? Very interesting. Okay. So the stat has 30 mobility, 40 resilience, 20 recovery, 150 discipline, 60 intellect, and then it ends with 200 strength. I think they said they were changing strength to just the term melee as well, so I think this just explains it to us now. The result will be a smaller number of unique stats on any piece of armor with larger contributions to these stats and every stat point providing a benefit. These stat changes should ultimately make every piece of armor more interesting and easier to evaluate. Like that. New stats. Some stats will be changing with 3 goals in mind. 1, improve specific weak stats that offer very little value. And reduce or eliminate mandatory must-have stats. And 3, overall improve understandability of stats and their effects. These changes are still under active development, but here are a few examples from work-in-progress designs, which will eventually include most or all of the current stats found on armor. Discipline from 1 to 100 provides increasing grenade cooldown reduction. Makes sense. But now from when you go over 100, what happens? Provides an increasing chance to gain a bonus grenade charge whenever your grenade becomes available. Okay, so just like randomly gives you a double grenade charge. This is going to be ability heaven right now, or ability. This is going to be mayhem in some ways. The Crucible, right? Stat renamed to Grenade to improve readability. Makes sense. Strength from 1 to 100 provides increasing melee cooldown. Above 100 provides an increasing chance to gain a second bonus melee charge whenever your powered melee becomes available. Got it. And then they changed it to melee instead of strength. Special ammo, increased rate at which special ammo bricks drop from final blows. There's a special ammo stat in this now, in your armor. And from 100 to 200 provides an increasing chance that a double-sized brick will drop. I'm getting bricked up just hearing about this. Hell yeah. You're gonna have a much more systematic way of acquiring ammo in the game. That's good. This is good. Set bonuses. The second major change to armor is the introduction of set bonuses. Think of them like an origin trait for armor. They'll represent the theme of the armor and allow you to reflect that fantasy in the way your build plays. Set bonuses are perks granted when you equip 2 and 4 pieces of armor from the same set. This allows you to either commit to 2 bonuses from the same set or find combinations that fit your unique needs. We're keeping both approaches in mind so that they take shape and are excited to see what each Guardian chooses to do with these new tools. I'm very interested in seeing what the meta is of this. Now that there is no bonus at 5 pieces because most builds are expected to include a piece of exotic armor. Okay. As you'll see, perks will consist of either existing mods or will be newly designed. We'll include a few examples below that represent the general direction we'd like to go. So we got perk 1, we got 2 pieces, perk 2, 4 pieces, got it. Text Mechanica, while shooting from the hip, you have an increased movement speed and weapon handling. Effect increases when you score hits. Text Mechanica weapons have increased range and accuracy when hip fired. Okay. So if you wore 4 pieces and you used a Text Mechanica weapon, you'd have increased range and accuracy when you hip fire. Whew. That could get spicy. Non-stop aggression. Final blows with freshly reloaded weapons heal you. And damaging a target with a shotgun or fusion rifle increases the damage it takes from those weapons for a short time. So it's a debuff for the target with a shotgun or fusion. Okay. Not bad. And Demolition's Expert. Direct hits with explosive weapons temporarily increase their reload speed. And repeated direct hits with explosive weapons temporarily increase grenade ability damage. Okay. This is cool. Activating your grenade gives you and nearby allies damage resistance against combatants. And defeating champions with a finisher generates special ammo for you and your fire team. I mean, wow, okay. That one's very good. This literally is like literally gives damage resistance and gives you special ammo if you were to wear 4 pieces. That's for team players right there, Vanguard Operative. This will definitely add a lot more to build crafting in general. FAQ, what happens to my old armor? Uh-oh. They sunsetted, haha. Evil Pete Parsons laugh. Old legendary armor will be changed as little as possible. But because the change to stat mechanics and types are global changes, old armor pieces will have their stat types, not their values, changed around. When possible, these changes will be to the most similar stat, but with some stats being fundamentally reworked, this won't always be possible. Oh man, there's gonna be some screenshots out there. We'll see what happens. What about exotic armor? Updating the exotic armor pursuit is on our roadmap, but won't be a part of the initial update that is focusing on legendary armor. So to make sure that exotics and their build crafting defining perks remain a compelling option, we are working out a design that will allow players to update their exotic armor to bring their stat bonuses in line with the changes to legendary armor. Exotic class items introduced in the final shape are a special case. Even though legendary class items will be gaining full random stats with this update, we don't wish to add additional randomness to the exotic class item chase. Instead, we will be providing a method for players to update their existing exotic class items with additional stats of their choosing to bring them in line with the stat contribution of the new legendary class items. Interesting. So the exotic class items will be an exception to the case. More details on long-term plans for exotic armor coming soon as we nail them down. And then we got, my vault is full. Where am I supposed to store all this new armor? Delete that vault. I'm kidding. We know that vault pressure is a real problem for many players, even with the recent increase in vault space. Outside of adding more space, an option, real solutions that enable long-term storage of more desirable roles are really hard problems. But those are the problems we're penciling into our roadmap or are around next year's second expansion, codename Behemoth. we'll share more details when we have a clear direction for how we think we can solve this one. Interesting. Obviously, you can just put more stuff in collections, right? Things can just exist in collections. Delete more weapons, they exist in collections maybe. I don't know. It doesn't all have to be in the vault necessarily. Who knows? Maybe cloud storage can give us an infinite vault space. All I know is I'll bring videos for you on how to manage your vault better. I've been thinking about this for a while of actually coming out with a how to clean your vault video. It would be a pretty exhaustive, lengthy video, but could help a lot of people cleanse those vaults. You should really not have, I don't care who you are, you should really not have anything more than like 500, 600 pieces in your vault. In my opinion, I'm talking about cumulative weapons and armor. You really don't, like, you do not have 700 valuable items in the vault. All right, you don't. You just don't know what to delete, so you're a hoarder. I'm here to help you though. I do think those new stats here, I'll bring that video out soon. I do think the stat changes here and the armor changes is very, very deserved. Armor has been so bland for so long that we haven't pursued good armor. I can't even remember the last time when, right? This is good. I'm happy for this. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below. I think that this improves on the current armor system. It makes the game deeper is what it's doing. The game gets deeper. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.